said they were crushed down by education.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that? Because I'm dealing with a lot of teens now. The dynamic is sort of changing where their mindset is they don't feel they need an education because of social media, because of
Yeah.
YouTube, because of all these other ways of generating income. Can you elaborate more on what you meant by crushed down by education, with the understanding that we both know education is valuable, we need it, but it has to be structured, right? It has to be strategized. Use the education to benefit you and not let the education drown you in debt and tuition and all that other. Can you elaborate more on what you meant?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. That is a great question, Brother Bentley. Let's just say the 50s and the 60s, we were taught that education was the way out. Baseball players didn't make millions of dollars. Okay. Many of the football players had jobs off season, working in fields.
Yep, those summer jobs. I read about those. Yeah.
You know, they didn't make enough money. I mean, I think Jackie Robinson was making like $40,000 a year, and that was like big stuff. I mean, that was after he made it. Wow. Okay. And so we had a different paradigm of, playing ball was okay. It brought you notoriety, but you did not get wealthy from it. Mm-hmm. So education was taught to be the way to go. Mm-hmm. Something happened when integration took place. First, in 1954, the Supreme Court, they had to sue in Brown versus the Board of Education to dismantle segregated schools. Mm-hmm. I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina right now. Wilmington 10, one of the great cases. The lady who was stimulated that was one of my classmates.
Wow.
She just died. She was the publisher of the black newspaper, the Wilmington Journal, and for years she fought to have them cleared. I just saw Ben Shavers at an event about a month ago.
Okay.
The same people that fought segregation, that fought integration in the courts. So in Wilmington, Dr. Eaton, the black doctors got together and sued, and they finally integrated the schools in 1968. So what's that, 14 years later? That happened all around the country. So now, the same people that fought integration now are still in control of the school system. So now we send our kids into that environment. Mm-hmm. The same people that fought it now are in charge of our kids. Mm-hmm. And so when you look in the South, the paradigm was the black schools were so inferior that we closed them down, bust the black kids to the white schools. That was the symbolic thought.
Right.
And so many of the black kids coming into that environment, I mean, I have stories to tell you how the teacher wouldn't even look at you when you're sitting in the class. A kid got suspended because he got in the way of a girl who was trying to stab him with a pencil. Wow. Reckless getting in the way of a white girl trying to stab somebody. Okay. This is one of the tales that we were told about that. But anyway, so when you have a school system teaching your kids who don't love them, I mean, how are you going to perpetuate a separation system and love them?
Exactly.
So that whole system, you look at Malcolm X when he was telling his teacher he wanted to be a lawyer. Remember the movie? And she says, "Oh no, your kind can't be lawyers. You need to learn how to do something with your hands. You need to be a mechanic or something."
Yeah, carpenter.
The story of Malcolm's mother and how they put her in an institution for 25 years just to take her land. Down. So when you have, and that's really the paradigm of the system. I mean, I'm not saying all white teachers are bad and whatnot, but there is a paradigm, the people who run the system, the power structure, that does not necessarily love black kids.
Yes. Yes, let's call it what it is.
That's it. Yeah. And so you look at the suspension rates. You know, a kid's marginal. He does something like kids do. When a white kid does something bad, they say it's kids being kids. A black kid does something bad, they say, oh, we need to teach him a lesson. So he's marginal. You send him home for 10 days. What do you expect? You think he's going to go home and study to keep up? So he can come back and say, look, I did my homework? No.
Mm.
He's going to be mad because you sent him home and he knows it wasn't just. He knows it wasn't right. And so this is the major paradigm. So many of our kids are educated in this. And it's not just the South. I mean, the North has its own issues. You know, you have blatant racism, you have underground racism, but it's still racism. So you have kids raised in this system where expectations are different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as educators, you've seen that experiment where they picked a set of kids randomly, and they told the kids, you're smart, you're going to go to college, you're going to excel.
Mm-hmm.
And then they took what they said the best teachers in the school system to teach these kids. And sure enough, at the end of the day, okay, the kids who were programmed to say they did excel, they did great. And so the teachers were patting themselves on the back, and they said, listen, we didn't tell you this, but the teachers were selected randomly also. And so everybody's put in here that what was the difference? The difference was the paradigm, the thought.
Right.
And so if we had a system where Black kids are expected to do great,
right,
expected to do well, who are permitted to be children, you know, how you look makes all the difference. Your name, we used to do training with the Board of Education, and we found that when the kids came to school the first day of school, when the teacher said, Cho, and the kid said, my name is Tyshawn. That teacher's never going to call his name again.
Right.
Okay? So now, how is he going to connect?
Right.
See, these little things.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean, the system, the education system. I don't know who's running it.
Right.
But whoever it is, think about it. You used to be, when I was a kid, you could go to school, you could come out, they had trades in the school.
Right.
So you could come out as a tailor, as a carpenter, as an electrician, as a brick mason, and be good enough to get a job.
Right.
Now, they took all the trades out of school, and they wonder why the kids don't want to work. So that's, I mean, that all of this crushes down on children, and they respond indifferently. If you come from your parents and my parents who were able to negotiate and move us in a certain kind of way, so we didn't get caught up in the system, we didn't get, arrested before you get to the 7th grade. By the time you get to the 12th grade, you got 3 or 4 felonies.
Yep.
Okay.
We got you in the system.
Hey, you got you in the system. But so we were blessed to be able that our parents helped negotiate us, and we were very clear about where somebody guided the way. Without that, then we could be a statistic ourselves.